Hello, everybody. Happy Taco Tuesday. Now, I messed up and I did not do what I normally do, which is a check on all my equipment. I was like, oh, I hope the right microphone is selected. It was. We're good to go. Hello and happy Taco Tuesday, y'all. So it's 10 a.m. Central here in Houston. I'm usually done with coffee by now, but I just felt like I needed something hot because I'm just cold in my office. And so I got some tea. Y'all, have you seen my office ladies mug? Like this is how you know you're a fan. Let me try not to spill hot tea on myself and show you my office ladies mug. Y'all, this is so good. If you've seen The Office, you know this right here is the chili, Kevin's chili. Oh, it's so good. This is the yogurt lid from the Olympics. Of course, this is Angela's little thing, reception, the teapot, the beat, the white sneakers, Pam's cardigan, sprinkles. Maybe that one's supposed to be sprinkles. I don't know. And then the teapot's on there again, and watermelon baby. Oh my gosh! And then of course the Dundies, and then the little toy machine. I know. This is what I do, and it's funny because I get asked a lot if I have these flyaways that like I keep seeing in here. I know I shouldn't bring them up because you probably don't even see them, but I see them and they're driving me crazy. All this static electricity, all the things, but I just started rewatching The Office with my 12-year-old. He'll be 13 in May. And he's been asking, he's like, Mom, can I watch The Office? Can I watch The Office? And I always think like, yeah, sure, it's fine. Until like a specific episode comes up. Then I'm like, I don't know. Is he ready? Is he ready to watch this? Should I allow him to watch this? But I think it's time. And I saw this mug this morning and I was like, oh, have I introduced y'all to my office ladies mug merchandise? I do get questions about merchandise. Should I have it for my podcast or for, any type of content that you're creating? I err on the side of, is your audience asking you for it? Because I know lots of people, they do lots of research into drop shipping stuff, whether it's t-shirts, mugs, anything like that, stickers for their content. And then they're like, nobody's buying it. And then I say, well, did people ask for it? Because if people didn't ask for it, maybe you shouldn't have made it. Because I know that people were I was like, take my credit card. I will be the first one to buy this coffee mug, which it's so cute and it's so special. And everybody knows they can't use my office lady mug in the house. I'm like, nope, not going to happen. Yeah, that's cool. Awesome. Hey, Monique, so happy that you're here. Yeah, today we are talking about today's podcast episode. And also, I want to give you a little teaser for two things. Okay, two things are coming up. So one, today's podcast episode it's kind of like the back to the basics. So I wanted to come here today not to just talk about what is in the episode, obviously, because you can go listen to it and hear it. But I wanted to remind you that when it comes to your content, taking things back to the basics every now and then is a great idea. I've already gotten several comments of people, messaging me saying, oh my gosh, yeah, we tend to overthink the things that we as experts, and you are an expert in the industry that you're talking about in your content, we tend to overlook the simple things. And my friend Bobby, he's an attorney, and he also does a lot of things with helping people with their email online. And he used to do a lot of things with legal templates, but now he switched into email marketing. He actually has a book coming out in May. He messaged me earlier and he was like, hey, can we talk about getting on the podcast soon? I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, send me a message and we'll get you on the show. But he was like, man, you're so right when it comes to taking things back to the basics, because he was doing a training and someone recently was like, well, he was talking about lead magnets. And he was like, well, what is a lead magnet? And this was in his email marketing community. So he was like, this is like a great reminder that we need to take things back to the basics from time to time. So if you have not done this, if you are just always looking for the next step, always like moving your audience along. I think that that's fantastic. But you also have to remember that every once in a while, someone's going to stumble upon your content, maybe in episode 40 or 50 or 100, and they're going to say, wait, they're talking about these things, but I don't ever remember them giving me the exact definition for what this thing is. And so that's what today, it's all the definitions. I say all. It's 10 definitions that I wish I would have understood more whenever I first got started creating content. So you can go check that out. Oh, excuse me, crystalprofit.com/episode 330. And then it's funny because I want to do this, but I don't. There's a new feature in StreamYard that I'm trying out. I added an extra camera. My friend Mel, y'all know Mel, she may hop in here in a second. She showed me that you could add in another camera, like without it being in a different browser in StreamYard. And it's really cool. So are you ready? We're going to see. Oh, do you see this? Do you see me at the bottom? So it's like me. And then like, oh, you can see me. See, you can see where my office lady's cup sits. Well, I cleaned off my desk. I'm not going to lie. I threw everything in the floor because I was like, we don't need to show everybody the messy desk. And you can only see this one wire coming off here, but it's not too bad today. There's usually a bunch of wires everywhere, but we're not going to talk about that. That's not what we're here to talk about today. We're not talking about the mess that consistently lives on my desk. We are here to talk about everything. But the only thing is I'm looking at this webcam and I'm like super blown out. Like it's really, I look very white. And I don't know if it's because the camera right here, the Sony camera, is a lot better at like working out the different white stuff. But this camera, hi, this is my webcam that I hooked up to see how it would work. So cool. I don't know if I would really need this for anything, but I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and try it. But this is today's episode. Again, crystalprofit.com/episode 330. And I wanted to bring this up today. So you can go check it out. You can go see the different definitions that I wish I knew way back in the day. And I also have a bunch of resources for you to check out. I put some YouTube videos in there that would also be super helpful. But here's the other thing I want to talk about. I'm really excited about this. And you know about this if you're on my email list. If you're on my email list, you already know that this is coming. It's happening tomorrow. And I got to put the link in here. So let me put... I want to say it out loud. I'm going to put it in here because it's going to be a little bit of a surprise. If I can spell, y'all know I'm not the best speller, but we're going to put it out there anyway. Okay. Let me see if I share this, if it looks, okay, there we go. That one looks a little bit different. I want to get the right link. Okay. Are you ready? Is the anticipation killing you? You're like, Crystal, just show us what you're talking about. I'm going to be talking at Podcast Movement University tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central. I had to look at the time. And I'm really excited about it. So let me do this. No, let's not do that. This. Okay. No, we don't need this other one. Hang on. Let's remove that one. There's still way too much going on the screen. But this is what, like, so that link right there, if you go to that link, which you're like, Crystal, really? You can't? Maybe I can drop it in the chat. I don't know. Can I put that in the chat? Will that work? Okay, I put it in the chat. Y'all let me know. I think it's only going to show up on YouTube. Nope, no, it popped up on Facebook. LinkedIn, I don't know if it's going to show up for you or not. But if you click on that link, go click on it right now and click Get Reminder. Because, oh, here, let me take myself off here for a second. You can see that it's going live in 28 hours. 28 hours. I'm going to be speaking at Podcast Movement University. Podcast Movement University. I'm really excited about this. For one, I actually have a picture. It would have been 2019, right? It was 2019. It's 2018, 2019. I'm going to go back and find this picture because it was on my Instagram. I submitted for the very first time to talk at Podcast Movement. And I remember it wasn't accepted. They didn't give me a reason other than like, hey, we have all these applications. Like your idea didn't work. I know why it didn't work. It was not a good topic. I'll share. That's another story for another day. But this will be my second time to speak at Podcast Movement University. And I actually spoke at Podcast Movement in August last year. And it's just so much fun. It's so much fun. I love that they're doing this. It's totally free. Like there's no upsell. I'm not going to tell you about a program. I'm not selling anything right now, but it's just my way of giving back to the creator community. And I love the idea of sharing repurposing strategies. If you've been around here for a while, you know, I always talk about reusing your podcast content, reusing your YouTube content, reusing transcriptions. Like there's a lot of things that I really wanted to hit on, but specifically when it comes to your podcast, there's this concept that I developed. I'm working on getting on some podcasts. So if you have a podcast, you want me to come guest on your podcast, or you know a podcast I should guest on, drop it in the comments. I would love to know. But one of the things is, you know, in my pitches to the podcast that I'm trying to get on, I tell them one of the things that I say is your podcast should be your favorite child. And you know this, if you've been around here, you know, I have 3 kids. You're not supposed to say any of your children are your favorite children, but I can say that about my content children. Okay. I'm not saying anything about my actual children, but my content children, I think that you should make your podcast your favorite child for a few reasons. There's a few reasons, right? Number one, it's the longest piece of content you're going to create. Besides, like live streams, I do these long live streams. They're about an hour. Yeah, it's awesome. You know, it's great. I love doing my weekly live streams, but let's be honest, unless you're here live, watching the replay isn't the same. You don't get to have real-time comments and feedback. Yeah, like Monique. Monique said, done. I'm ready. She's going to be there. I'm so excited. I hope that you can join us live tomorrow, Monique. I have something fun in store for the audience that's going to be joining us. But yeah, like, so I can interact with Monique here while I'm live. That doesn't always translate to a podcast episode whenever people are listening back to it. It's not in real time. And so what I love about podcast, yeah, exactly. Favorite child. We're not supposed to say we have a favorite child. For those of you that are just tuning in, you're like, what? She's talking about her favorite child? No, my podcast is my favorite content child. Okay, not my favorite child, my favorite content child. And just this idea, because it actually, the content, when you look at it, and this is my approach to content creation. When I look at content and I can see the longest piece, which typically for most of you is going to be your podcast, if you look at it, then you can say, oh, here's where I can chop it up into little pieces that are either mini clips that will live in another episode, or sound bites that you can put on social media. Y'all, do you see this one? It's officially driving me crazy. I'm about to okay, hang on. I might have gotten it. And I'm moving my head weird because I can barely see it on the camera. I have the camera popped out. I can show y'all what it looks like when I'm live because I have this other one. This is driving me crazy. Okay, there we go. See, people don't want to see this on the replay. People don't want to look back and see me, you know, messing around with my hair for 15 minutes because there's one flyaway that won't stay down. But yeah, because y'all are here live, you have to suffer through it with me. But Diane's asking what time. So it is at 3 p.m. Central. So if you go to the link that is on the screen, it will take you here. You'll go straight to YouTube, and you can either type that in. You can also go to. No, I don't want to tell you that link. I don't want to tell you that link. It's for tomorrow. It's for tomorrow. If you show up live, I'll share with you later, but I don't want to tell you what the thing is for tomorrow because then it's something extra special for those that are attending. I can tell you once it's live, but I created this fun landing page where you can go and you can actually watch the replay and you'll get something extra special, like free resource. You see what I'm saying? Lead magnet, building your email list, always be building your email list. Okay. You understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, so let me go back to, and let me show y'all what this looks like. Hang on. I was about to pick it up like I could pick it up. So here is, I have 2 cameras today. I was telling those of y'all that were here earlier, This one makes me look super blown out. This one right here. And I don't understand why. Maybe it's because it's a webcam. But look, this is what it looks like. Whoa, I might drop you. It's not going to be on purpose, I swear. So this is what it looks like. You can see, can I make it big? Can I make it the biggest one? There we go. So you can see I have my camera here, and I always get these questions. When I'm live streaming, I'm looking directly in this lens. I'm actually not looking at my my screen because I have two screens. This is how my setup is. Let's see if I can turn it more. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Chords are happening. Chords happen. So you can see I have my drink here, have my camera, and I don't know, is this helpful for y'all to see this? I was thinking of like, why would I use this to, show y'all what's going on behind the scenes? Maybe y'all don't care, but maybe you do. I like seeing people's behind the scenes. So you can see here is what I'm looking at when I'm live, and then here are all y'all's comments. They come up here, and then I can just, display them like, oh, there's my comment on YouTube, putting the link. I can go through and favorite them and then go back and make sure like I can just go look at my starred ones. I don't know. Is this helpful? Do y'all care about this? Like, let me know, because I am trying to, and I said this, if you listen to, let me do this one. Nope, not that one. This one. I said this recently, if you listen to the Potty Report, that I'm making a shift from just speaking to podcasters to speaking to more of the content creator in general. If you were here for last week's live, then we were talking about how to rank for YouTube. And I found something else. This is another one. So go check out Podcast Movement University. Go make sure you set the reminder. Actually, I'm gonna set my own reminder, even though I know I'm going to be there. I'm gonna be in the back room, like going through the back door through StreamYard to do the whole presentation tomorrow, which is going to be so much fun. So much fun. So let me put it up here one more time. So I don't need both of these. This is really crazy. Podcast Movement University, YouTube, the link is up there. Go click set reminder right here, and then you'll be notified when we go live tomorrow. Now, the other thing I was going to tell you is that I found something really cool this morning. So for those of you that are thinking about starting a YouTube channel or how you could incorporate it into your content strategy, maybe it's to share little clips of your podcast. Maybe you want to do some other fun things with your content that are pre-recorded videos or live streams or any type of things like that. I am always looking at, they have this little creators, let me take this down. They have this like creator section, and it's all about the YouTube algorithm. Now, I don't typically go down like a search rabbit hole trying to just find any information about YouTube or search stuff or organic growth or even podcasting or content creation. Like, I don't do that. I probably do what you do, which is I find a few meaning like one or two, possibly three, but I'd like to keep it at one or two experts that I follow. People that I go back to time and time again because they give me good information, they give me timely information, and they tell me to do something, I try it, it works, I go back to them. That's as simple as it is. And so with YouTube, they have this like creator studio or creator academy. And whenever I log in, I'll have like these little things on the side that say, hey, try this out. This could be something that's helpful. This is what popped up today. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is very, very helpful. So it's all about, and I haven't watched these yet. I'm actually going to do that whenever we get finished here today. But it has one about the algorithm, how YouTube search works, suggested videos, home screen, trending tags, subscribers, and notifications. So why am I bringing all this up? Like I said, it's not for those of you that want to grow a massive YouTube following. It is for those of you that want to explore YouTube and you want to know how it all works. And when it comes to your podcast and using YouTube and your podcast together, I think the best approach is to do sound bites, and do something that's not super overwhelming. And I've talked about this before when it comes to video podcast. People will ask me, "Well, what do you think about recording your podcast while a camera is on you?" And I'm just very honest. I cannot be scripted very easily. It can be done. Okay, it can be done. I can't be scripted easily while I'm live like this. And while my podcast is pretty, it's not scripted. Let me tell you that much. My podcast is definitely not scripted, but I've been doing this. I finally figured out how to use my iPad in a way that would work better for me. But I have, let me open this. Hang on. I found this cool little tool that I started using. And this is like I can write on it, but then I can also like I did it all in like actually writing it out, and then I turned it into notes. This is what it typically looks like when I am recording a podcast episode, which this is a very, very basic version of it. Let me find a different one. Okay, here's a better example. So this is what it looks like. And if you've seen me, like when I record my show notes, or if you watch my latest video on how I do show notes and stuff, I will have like the main bulleted points, and then I go down and tell the topics, tell the stories, go into detail, whatever it is that I'm doing. I can't do that very well when I'm live like this. I like to talk to you, interact with you, and I like to answer your questions, answer your comments. And I don't like doing this, but then like have something like off of the camera, like over here, and pretend to be looking at you. And I'm actually like moving the iPad closer to the camera. Oh my gosh. This is when you need the other one up. Hang on. I'm going to add this one up because I'm going to show you what I will see people doing. And they'll have something like right off from the camera, and it's their notes. And then they look off, and then they're going back, and they're going back. And the eye contact is weird, but they want to have a video podcast, and they want to create a YouTube channel. So they do this. And then you're like, I think this person may be losing their mind because they're looking back and forth and back and forth. And I can't do it. I can't do it. So I suggest when you're doing video, if you're going to do video, commit to either pre-recorded, which is mostly what my YouTube channel is. I will record a video. I highly edited it. Y'all, highly, highly, highly edit my videos when it comes to my YouTube videos. Oh my gosh. I just finished editing tomorrow's YouTube video. I should show you how much I chopped up and I cut it all up. I actually thought about, tell me in the comments if this is a great idea or a terrible idea, but I thought about having like a co-working time where I just turn on my live stream like this, and I just let you watch me edit my YouTube video, which makes me a little nervous because it takes me a long time. It ended up being, here, I just uploaded it. Let me see how long it was. It ended up being a 13-minute video. I think it took me an hour and a half to edit it. A 13-minute video, an hour and a half. Now, and I've had multiple people tell me, you need to outsource your videos. Like, you need to outsource the editing. True story. I am a control freak. We'll just call it what it is. When it comes to the video editing, I don't know why. I really like to do it. But I publish 3 videos a week. And I've gotten quotes from video editors that are upwards of like $150 per video. Y'all, I can't do quick math. 150 times 3. Somebody help me out. What is that on a weekly basis? What is that on a monthly basis? What is that on a yearly basis if I were paying a video editor to do all of my videos? And maybe we'll get there one day. Maybe it'll be, everything is outsourced, and I'm just sitting here recording videos and creating podcasts, and I just outsource everything. It's not where I am right now. It's not where I am right now, which, yeah, if you have any questions about that, please let me know, because I would love to, I'd love to talk about it. Oh, so happy that you're here. Yeah. If y'all have any questions, let me go ahead and put this up here. There we go. Put a Q in front of any questions that you have. Yeah, so this is great. I've actually seen commercials for this, but I'm trying to remember if it was like an ad on YouTube or what it was. So Diane says there's a new webcam called Center Cam. It's built to put the tiny camera anywhere on the screen. You can read copy and still appear as though you're looking right at the camera lens. I ordered it and still waiting for it to arrive. Yeah. So I have seen one, which it's funny because I do like this now. I'm like, oh, okay. I like this because I can, yeah, she got it for an ad on Facebook. Okay. I think that's where I've seen it too. I think I saw it on Instagram. But because I can show you this, so what she's talking about is I've seen one where there's a new monitor out too. I have no idea how expensive it is. I could imagine it's probably very outrageously expensive. But, and can y'all see this? I'm like, tell me in the comments you can see it. Because as you can see, the camera is like right in the way. And I typically can't see like this part of the screen because the camera is right there. So this is why you always see me like bobbing and weaving when I'm talking. This is what I'm doing. But it will have this like hook. It's like a clear hook that comes down, and it's like, it's a very tiny camera. So you can still read everything that's happening around it. This cord is going to drive me crazy. There we go. So you could see everything that's happening around it because it has these like clear little holders that it goes on right here. But I've also seen a monitor that's coming out that's going to have the camera like legit built into the monitor, which sounds awesome, but also really expensive. So we'll see what happens. But I like that idea. I think it sounds really cool. But for now, like this is what I have. You can see I have my Sony camera. I have this. Can you see that? Okay, yeah. So I have my, hang on, now I got to turn my tracking on. All the things that I've learned in doing. I've learned a lot of things through trial and error. If you've been around here for a while, you probably know this. But if I don't turn my tracking on this screen, it will focus on something else. Like this one, it has great like responsiveness and like focus. If I move something close, like if I were to show you my finger, this is what I want you to hone in on my ring. I just have to do that. This camera is amazing for that, but every once in a while it'll get out of focus and I have to touch the screen over here to turn on the tracking. It'll like look at my nose or my mouth or my forehead, and it will like follow my face. Because in previous videos, whenever I first started using this camera, it would really hone in on my microphone. And it's not something I realized until I was already done with the video. And I was like, are you kidding? Like my face is out of focus and it's looking at my podcast microphone, not my face. Very frustrating. But these are the things that you learn through trial and error by doing these different types of content. So yeah. Let me know if y'all have any content questions. So Diane says, I have a 13-inch TV that I've converted into a computer monitor. So I have to use an external camera as well. Oh, you'll have to let us know. 32-inch TV, that feels really big. That feels really big. Converted into a computer monitor. Like, do you have that on your desk? Is it mounted on a wall? How do you have the TV monitor? Like you have your computer and then you have the monitor or the TV mounted on the wall. Tell us how you have that. That's interesting. It's big and it's great. It's great. We are huge fans of Costco. We love Costco so much. And every time we go there, we kind of look at, my husband and I are both tech geeks. So we'll go and we'll look at all the different, equipment and, tools and gadgets and gizmos aplenty that they have. And we saw the new Mac, like desktop computer. And maybe it's just because I'm clumsy and I have a cat that likes to come and jump on this desk. And I have 3 children that love to be crazy and throw things in our house. And they throw balls when they're not supposed to and other things that fly around. That makes me really uncomfortable to think about something that's not mounted. Okay, yeah. It's on your desk and it's a flat screen. Oh my gosh. See, that makes me like cringe a little bit to think about something that's not mounted down, because as you can see on here, I love this feature. It's official. I love being able to show you what's like. You can see my blanket that I normally try to hide. Like you can't see it on my main one, but I have a blanket underneath me. It was a little chilly earlier. That's why I got my little tea because it was cold in my office. But you can see that I have this. Well, you can't really see it fully on this camera, but I can move it and show you. Whoop. As long as I don't drop it. So this is my whole setup. You can see that I have, it's like a standing desk. Y'all, I hope I don't make y'all dizzy. So this is part of the standing desk. I have a wireless keyboard, a wireless mouse, wireless 10 key, which I love. I love my 10 key. And then I have my USB as well as this right here. Now this whole thing, I can pull it up and it lifts up and it's a standing desk, but both of these monitors are mounted. So I don't have to worry about the kids or anybody else, the animals knocking anything over. Let me move this back before I knock anything over. I probably shouldn't tell y'all how clumsy I am, but it's true. It's true. I've broken many of bowls that have slipped out of my hands in my kitchen in my lifetime. But let me know what questions y'all have. The other thing I was going to talk to you about is, oh, this is a good one. Monique, I'm going to come to your question in a second. The video for tomorrow. So tell me in the comments if you watched yesterday's video on YouTube about SEO. SEO is one of those things that I didn't understand for a very long time. And I refused. It was like I was very stubborn. I'm not always stubborn in everything that I do. I was very stubborn that I did not want to learn what SEO was, what keywords are, what they can do, and all the things until I did. And then I realized the power of them. And so yesterday's video on YouTube was all about the 3 tools that I use. And tomorrow's video is actually showing you how I use keywords everywhere. Specifically, it's one of the tools to like grab keywords for research. So if you're brand new to content creation or you've never done like a thorough, I'm going to go figure out what keywords I should use in my content on a regular basis, you're going to love this video. You're going to love it. My friend reached out to me and she was like, hey, can you help me with my keyword planning? And I was like, yeah, sure. Send me a list of your keywords. And she was like, no. I don't have any keywords. I need you to help me figure out my keywords. Oh, yes. Let's go back, further back, like 4 steps back. And it's funny because this is what we talked about at the top of the hour is like, if you haven't gone back and done some basics for your topic, your specific topic, whatever it is, think about how can I I don't like to use the phrase dumb it down, but that's essentially what it is. It's like, how can I take something that I understand really well? Because if you're creating content about your topic, you're the expert. Your people are coming to you because you're the expert. But as the expert, you typically want to talk about the 10th and 12th step when people are like, yo, I'm back here on step 1 and 2, and I have no idea what you're talking about. So every once in a while, you got to dumb it down to a level of, oh, let's start with the very, very basics and then build from there. And this is actually, I've been getting a lot of questions about content strategy and how you can build out your content to where everything kind of weaves together. This is one of the reasons why you do this, is because now in the future, if someone asked me, if Monique were to say, hey, Crystal, what are your favorite SEO tools that you use for your podcast or for your YouTube? I don't have to sit there and type everything back to her and say, okay, wait, which one do I use? Okay, this is what it is. This is my favorite one. This is how I use it. These are the steps. I can say, oh, I created a YouTube video about that. Here, go watch it. So much easier for everybody. Not only am I not trying to remember everything that I'm supposed to say every time or creating canned responses that I send back to people. I'm like, hey, Monique, I see that you have this problem. Here, I actually created a YouTube video about it that you can go watch anytime you want. You can watch it 50 times if you want. And it's just something that this is where things really started to click for me whenever I realized that if I'm creating content for questions that people are already asking me, things that I'm excited to talk about, and something that is shareable, oh my gosh, like this is we just unlocked the secret to content strategy and content creation. There you go. There are the three secrets that you need to know in order to be a successful content creator. So, but I want to go back. Yeah. I like dumb it down, put in layman's terms for me. Yeah. I mean, and okay, that's much better. It's nicer. Like I don't let my boys like say stupid. They can't call each other stupid. I think it's like a 4-letter word. It is a 4-letter word in this house. They can't say shut up and they can't say stupid. So I don't, when I said dumb it down, I'm like, I don't really like that phrase, but put it in layman's terms. There we go. That is a much better way to talk about it, because you don't want to talk about like your audience is a dumb. That's why I felt bad saying like, I don't want, y'all aren't dumb, but we also need to take things down to layman's terms or explain it simply for people that are just getting started. Or there are those of you, this is really important too, for y'all to think about when you're putting your content together. You may have some people that are already doing the thing, like, I know Monique talks about relationships and getting married, getting engaged, dating, like there's a bunch of different aspects to her content. Well, there's going to be people that are like, I've been dating for a long time, or I've been doing these things. I've been trying to implement this or that. But if she explains something in layman's terms that they had never thought about or they had never explored before, they're like, it's that light bulb moment. And that is when, and this like it's so silly because it gets me a little emotional, but it is so validating. It is so amazing when someone sends me a message and says, how are you in my head? How did you know this is the question that I had? How did you know this is the thing that I've been thinking about for 6 months? And I wish someone would have explained it to me. Like, there's nothing more special as a content creator than someone saying, this piece of content was made just for me. It is the most validating, and it's something I hope happens to every single one of y'all. I hope that there comes a day, if you've never had this experience, where someone says, oh my gosh, you made this just for me, because it's really special. And I think like above and beyond the numbers, the downloads, the followers, all those things, like that is the thing that will make me cry. Like, well, when I open my email, and it's happened so many times now that I'll tell my husband, he's like, what's going on? Because I'm reading my emails and I'm like, oh my gosh. He's like, what happened? What's wrong? And I'm like, somebody sent me a message and they said that this podcast episode really helped them, or this YouTube video was incredible. And he's like, okay, like, you're taking it a little bit too seriously. And I'm like, no, you understand. This is the best day ever. Yeah. So anyway, that's how I feel when my content is validated by a comment like that. It's so incredible. Okay. Now we'll wrap that up. We put a nice little bow on that. But if y'all have any other questions about content strategy, let me know. Okay. We're going back to Monique's question. How do you do the Google form surveys? Well, great question, Monique. And we are actually going to build one right now, because this is what we do when we're live and we can make it happen. But I want to know form.new. Is that how we make this happen? Yes. Okay. So create a Google form. And let me see. Y'all, my stomach is growling. Apparently, I am hungry because my stomach is growling. So Google Forms. Nope, that's not what we want. That is the wrong screen. What screen is that? What is even happening? See, this is the other thing about being live. You get to experience the joys of me not understanding what's always going on. There we go. Okay. We do not need this one right now. And all right. So I'm in a Google form. Let me go out of here. Actually, let me go to just these are literally all of my Google forms. Look at how many I have. I've got a bunch. And what I will do, so this is after you've created one. Let's say you find the perfect template and it's beautiful, everything, save it. You don't have to save it because it's automatically saved in Google. But after you find a template that you love, reuse it over and over and over again, because that is what I do. I no longer create my surveys from scratch. I will literally go in and duplicate a survey and then change it up based on what I'm going to use it for. But for today's demonstration, you can choose from a template. So you go to Google Forms, you can select order form, job application, contact information, and it will have specific questions that are already populated. The assessment one is the one that I typically use for surveys. I do a lot of surveys. If you're in my community, you're like, yeah, she does. Like she sends one at least once every 6 months because you got to stay on track. I want to know your thoughts and what you're thinking about things that I'm creating. So I'm not wasting my time and I'm not wasting your time. So if you've never done a survey, you gotta start somewhere. So I want to do this instead of doing, this is just what a typical, like there's nothing here. And honestly, I think it's a lot harder to create something from scratch like this than it is to go off of a template. So go find the template that speaks to you, that appeals to you. I am going to go down here. Oh, I did it again. Y'all, my clickiness today. Now I have 2 that I don't need that I'm going to have to go delete later. There it is. Choose from template. Assessment. So I'm going to click on the assessment one. And then from here, you can see like it just has all the like preloaded text on here. So I could say this is the survey for whatever your group is. And then from there, it already has it populated with the name and the email, and you can make it where it's required. I think the name and the email automatically default to it. But if you're like, well, they may not want to share their name or their email, you can make it optional right here where you can turn it off and it doesn't have that little asterisk like right there. But I usually leave those as required. And then this is where you can just build them out. You could say, hey, hang on, we got caps lock on. What type of content do you want to see in the future? And then from here, again, this is all the preloaded different types of questions that you could ask. If you're like, well, I need to give them some choices, you could click over here. Hang on. Maybe I can't change it from here. I thought I could change it from here. Maybe I'm a liar. And that happens too. That happens too. I don't want to do a description. Okay, so this is the description. I messed up. Hang on, reverse, forget everything you just saw. Because what that was is supposed to be the description of the survey. It wasn't actually the first question. So I'm going to copy this and then we're going to put this here and boom, there we go. This will be the description. You know how it is. And obviously you're going to spend more time doing this whenever you're actually creating it. But you could say, what type of content do you want to see in the future? And if you want to change this where they could pick more than one, because the radio buttons are like the yes or no option where they have to pick one, you could change it from multiple choice to check boxes, or they could have a drop down menu. They could upload something. They could have a short answer, which looks like that. Or they could do an entire paragraph where it just makes the box, instead of it being like this big, it makes it a lot bigger, and they can put a lot more information in there. And again, you can make it required or not required, and then just keep going all the way down. I would recommend maybe thinking of your questions in a Google Doc or somewhere else, just to make this process a lot faster, where you're just like copying and pasting the information in there, not doing all this dilly-dallying that I'm doing. And then yeah, you can. And then if you're like, I don't need this one down at the bottom, you can just go in and delete it. If you don't want to have this information down here, you can delete it, and it's automatically saving it because it's a Google product. So you don't have to continuously like, control save or anything. And then you could go preview it. So this is what it would look like. Obviously it's not a great survey, but it's really simple. It's super, super simple. You could change this picture up here. Hang on. It went away. You could change this up here by customizing the theme. So if you want it to be a different color, if you wanted to change this to a different picture, you could upload your own. I don't like doing that because the dimensions for this are super weird and I can never get it to look really awesome. So I will just grab a random picture. Let me see. Oh, look, there's one for like podcast. There we go. And then it kind of like automatically switches based on the design elements that you would want it to have. And then you could pick what color you want. You could customize it to your own brand colors. There's a lot of customization that you can actually do. And then you could do another one. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, that looks great. If you're thinking about doing this for your audience, then I would kind of tailor everything towards your brand colors. But yeah, what other questions do you have about that? And then when people respond to it, all your responses will be here. And then this is something really important to note that for me, if I have everything set up, where is it? Is it on the defaults? There's one specific, I think it's under presentations. No, it's not there. Oh, yeah, it is. So here's your confirmation message. You can also customize this here. It's a little more advanced, but I do like this personalization. So if it were to be a survey, like Monique, you'll have to give me some more information on like, are you surveying people in your audience to tell you more about content or whatever it is that they want? But you could put here, if they were submitting it for an application, like I've done podcast audit applications and I've done other types of things like that where it's more time sensitive, I would say oh wait, let me put thank you. It's very important to put that on there. You'll hear back from us I cannot type today, from us in 7 to 10 days or whatever. You could put the specific date there. Then you can click save. And again, that's under the presentation tab. All this other stuff, I don't mess with. I don't mess with any of this. The responses. This is another one because I have a Google Suite. It typically defaults to just people that are within my organization. So I have to make sure that it allows it to be shared to everyone. If you don't have a Google Suite situation, then you don't have to worry about that. But it is something I learned the hard way when I sent out a survey and people are like, I can't access this. It says restricted. I'm like, why does it do that? And then I did a lot of Googling and I figured out, oh, that's why. Because I have a Google Suite and it was restricted to just people that are in my organization. All right, last thing, sending it to people. So if you wanted to send this to people, I always recommend going over to the link and clicking shorten link because look how long this is, y'all. It's so long. It's so long. And this just makes it a lot prettier. So if you were to email this to your list, or you could put it in your Instagram bio, you could put it on Facebook, wherever you want to share this, it just looks a lot prettier. It's a lot simpler. So yeah, that is in a nutshell how you do a survey. That's a great question though. I'm like, oh, I should add that to my list. Hang on. In real time, I'm going to add this to my content calendar because this was a messy demonstration, let's be honest. Monique's like, could you do that all over again but not mess up a lot? That would be fantastic. So I'm going to put create Google form. Monique, you'll have to tell me what you're using this for. Create Google form to survey audience on content they want. I don't even know. Does that even make sense? That makes sense to y'all, right? Maybe a little bit. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. So I just added it just like that. When you're creating something and you have an idea that pops up, like now that's going to be a YouTube video. It'll come out probably the first of next month. But you always have to be looking for those little oh, that's a great question. Or I bet 5 other people have that question. How can I use that in my content? Obviously, that wouldn't make a great podcast episode. I could talk about Google Forms in a podcast episode, but people would be like, I can't visualize what you were talking about. Can you I need to actually see it. So that's a great demonstration. Yeah. So she's going to use it for a content survey. So I would use some of your own branding. I would put maybe at the very end, something in there that has a little bit more information about how you want your content to be, if that makes sense. Maybe your the main theme of your podcast is hey, this podcast was created for this specific type of person. We are thinking about changing up our content or collecting more ideas, and we would love your feedback. And what I think is super cool, you could always offer like a prize. You could say, oh, we're going to give a $25 gift card. So if you register, like we're going to do a drawing at the very end. Maybe you could have it open for a specific amount of time, like 7 to 14 days, and say, if you enter the survey between this amount of time and this amount of time, we're going to do a drawing for a $25 Amazon gift card or to Starbucks or to whatever you want to do. That is usually a way to get people to really do it, because most people don't love doing surveys, which is why you have to keep it pretty short. Definitely 5 questions, 10 at the max, like no more than 10. Nobody's going to do anything longer than a 10 question survey. Like, let's just be really, really honest. And when I do this video, Monique, I will show you how to break it up into sections where it's even easier. So if it is longer questions, then it will make more sense. Yeah. Okay, let's go back up here. So I answered Monique's question. So Sherry had a question. How do you duplicate a podcast episode to modify for the next episode in Audacity? This would be, so Sherry, this is a question. I want to know more about your question. Let me see. Each time I log in and get a message saying project not saved correctly. Okay, so I need to download Audacity. So I haven't used Audacity on this new computer since I got it. But what I would do if you're trying to duplicate a podcast episode, you have it saved in Audacity. And then I'm assuming that you have exported it, because it's just an Audacity file whenever it's in Audacity. And it can't be played in a podcast host, a podcast player, until it's an MP3 or a WAV file, meaning you have to export it from Audacity. Well, once you've done that, that is the episode, right? So that is your podcast episode. If you're wanting to duplicate any pieces of that, then I would just import it into Audacity, and you would have, it's the exact same file. So that would be the same as duplicating it. But I'm curious to know the reason why you want it to be duplicated, and if that makes sense. So you're getting an error message. How do I save a project in Audacity? Each time I log back in, I get a message saying project not saved correctly. So Sherry, I'm not sure where the issue would be, unless it's not being saved correctly as an Audacity project file. So some of the issues that I've run into with Audacity using it in the past is, and if y'all don't know this, y'all can tell me in the comments where y'all use or what software you use to record and edit your podcast. But in Audacity, when you create a file, it actually creates a folder on your computer, and there will be like multiple files in there. And if you move any of those files while it's live or you're working in it, it's like it breaks. So it will create a project file. Let's say it's episode 5 that you're creating, and you label it episode 5. Well, if you take any of the files that are not in this episode 5 folder, if you accidentally delete them or something happens where you're like, oh, I want to move all this into my podcast folder because I saved it on my desktop and I want to move it all. Well, if you don't have one of those files in that folder, things can break. So that is the first thing off the top of my head that I would wonder if something in the file got moved out of that folder. Oh, I wish I had more insight in that. So, Sherry, if you can give me more information, that would be helpful. But yeah, I would just, it's a simple file and save. Whenever I would always save my Audacity file, but then you have to export it as an MP3 or a WAV in order to get it into your podcast host like Buzzsprout or somewhere else where you want it to actually play, because it will stay an Audacity file until you export it. So let me know if that helps. Oh, I say newsletters while others say email marketing. Are they the same? Yeah. So, Diane, great question. She's looking for a course on creating newsletters. So newsletters, weekly emails, email marketing, There's like 5 other things that I will hear people call them, but yes, they are all the same. If you are sending an email, you're using an email service provider like Mailchimp, ConvertKit, Constant Contact, Active Campaign, Kajabi. If you're using any of those for email, that is email marketing. And if you're looking for a course on that, I highly recommend Amy Porterfield's course. It's List Builder Society. You can go to, let me see, I have a link to, she has a masterclass. So I think it's Amy Masterclass. So let me see, crystalprofit.com/email. That's what it is. So if you go to, here we go. I put a link in the chat. Hopefully you can see it. But if not, I'll put it up here. And then I'm going to show you what it is. So if you go to this link, there we go. So this is my mentor, Amy, and she has a fantastic course on growing your email list. But this training right here is really, really good because it talks about growing your email list and why like it's struggle. It's such a struggle. And it's something I struggled with for a long time. And it's just one of those, it's great. So you can go watch this free training and she'll tell you about List Builder Society. But that's where you're going to get more information on email marketing, how it works, lead magnets, setting up automations, writing sequences. So if for anybody that wants to know more about email marketing, this is where I would go. I would go watch this masterclass because it's free. And then see if List Builder Society would be a good fit for you based on where you are and your budget. And, you know, if you feel comfortable investing in email marketing, I recommend you do. I think that it's fantastic. And following her podcast on when she talks about email marketing is also, it's great. Yeah. So that's what I would recommend for email marketing. Let me see. I want to make sure I get everybody's questions. Yeah. Thank you so much for walking me through it. You're so welcome, Monique. Thank you for being the inspiration behind a YouTube video. I'll have to give you a shout out in the video for that. Is this Google Forms something I could include in my guest packet that I'd send out to potential guests? Absolutely. I actually, I was trying to figure out if y'all have ever heard of Zapier, however you say it. I never know. But this is an integration tool that I was recently messing with to see, because I use Calendly. And whenever someone is invited to be a guest on the show, I send them my Calendly link and then they fill out some information there. So if you use Calendly, I would use that to collect information for the guest. But if you don't use a scheduling tool like Calendly or Acuity or any of the other ones like that, you could absolutely use a Google form. I know people that will do things in Calendly and then they redirect them to a Google form, which I think is really smart because it collects their headshot, their bio, like all the things that you would need to do all the promotion when things are done. And this actually might be how I eventually set mine up. Calendly doesn't allow for you to collect like images or anything like that. So I'm kind of limited on just getting their information, but I do want to have everyone's headshot. It's always a thing that I forget about. Whenever I'm about to go live, I do all the show notes, I've done all the editing, everything is like ready to go. And then it's like the morning of, and I'm like, oh, I forgot to ask them for their headshot. I don't have it. And I need it to promote it. I need it to make the soundbite. I need to do all these other things. So yes, Google Forms would be great for doing your guest packets and getting people on there. Okay, yeah. To make a template. What is this in reference to, Diane? Is this when we were still talking about Google Forms? Oh, okay. To get their bio, contact information. Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely make a template for what you're going to do in Google Forms to collect all your guest information, and that will be a lot easier. Oh, okay. So Diane has a great suggestion. Audacity has changed so much. It may be that you need to update. That is something I had not thought of because I think that whenever I downloaded Audacity last time on my other computer, everything, let me see, maybe I do have it on here. Do I have it on here? No, I don't. I don't have it on this computer. So I will have to update it and see. And Maybe do y'all want to see some Audacity editing tutorials? I've been working mostly in Hindenburg for the last 2 years, year and a half. So if things have changed in Audacity, I'd love to get in there and poke around and maybe do some demonstrations on the ways I would use it now, knowing what I know about like podcast editing and different things. I would be happy to do that. I'll look at it again. Yes, yes, yes. Does it go into the actual creation of the newsletter? Yes. So she talks about what to send your list. So Diane, if you're already creating content, the place that I would recommend you start for like what to send to your list, like what am I actually supposed to say? I would gear everything towards a podcast or maybe something that happened on social media that you shared or something that ties back to the content that you're creating, because what you're trying to do is create this loop of constantly being top of mind with your audience or potential audience without being annoying. This is like my greatest thing in life is my mission in life is I want people when they think about creating podcast episodes, creating YouTube videos, creating any type of content that is of substance that requires planning and editing and all those things, I want them to think about me. And the way that I do that is getting in front of them on a podcast or putting out a YouTube video, doing a live stream like this, sending out a weekly newsletter. And I can hit them on all these different points because not everybody is going to consume content the same way. Not everyone will listen to all my podcast episodes. Not everyone will listen and watch my YouTube videos. Not everyone will read my emails. But in having these little touch points along my customer's journey or the consumer's journey, I'm able to still stay top of mind about content creation. So the newsletter is something that allows me to remind them, hey, by the way, did you see we put out this podcast episode? Did you see we have this new YouTube video? Or if you got my newsletter on Friday, you saw I talked about I'm speaking at Podcast Movement and I hope that you will come. The Podcast Movement University training is tomorrow. Well, I would have said it last week. It would have been like, hey, it's on Wednesday, but it's actually tomorrow. And so it's like little mentions of what's going on, like what's going on in your content, what's going on in your industry. It's a conversation starter. And this is where I get super cheesy, but I actually handwrite my emails. Go listen to, I did an episode with Zafira Rajan on the Profit Podcast, and she talks about email marketing. And it's so good. We talk about where to get started, how to infuse your personality into your emails. And it was just a great conversation. And I think it's just really important to just be yourself. Like Diane is the only Diane that could be her. I am the only person that can talk about my stories of loving coffee, having 3 boys, living in Houston, creating a podcast. Like there's certain experiences that only I have that if someone else were to tell that story, it would feel weird or it would feel forced. And so I think that the email marketing just always brings it back to what's special about the creation or the content you're creating and the things that you're talking about, because that will be what makes people want to open your emails, listen and read what you have to say. So I hope that that helps. And a really good title to your email helps too. I will say that. Okay, you're welcome, Sherry. Yeah. Oh, update Audacity and let us know if that helps or if that fixes the problem. That was a fantastic suggestion. Yeah, that's all of our questions. We got to all of them. Y'all let me know if you have any other questions. Don't hesitate to reach out. That's it for our live stream today, but we will be back here next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central. Yeah, I would love for you one more time. I'm going to put it back up here. Hang on. What did I do? I am speaking at Podcast Movement University tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central. So if you go to the link that's on the screen, you'll be able to watch. It's totally free. There's no selling. There's no upsell. There's nothing. It's just me giving back to the podcast community. And I'm going to be sharing ways that you can repurpose your content from one episode. So if you're creating a bunch of stuff and you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed, like please join us because I'm going to show you how you can take one and create a whole bunch of things. And Diane, one of them is a newsletter related thing. So you should definitely come join us tomorrow. We'll be live in 27 hours. So yeah, that's going to be super fun. Let me take that off. Oh my gosh, y'all. I start clicking around and I'm like, wait, where am I? Help me. Somebody come save me from myself because this doesn't always work. I went the whole stream without talking about Rita. How did this happen? Happy Taco Tuesday. I am so disappointed in myself. It's literally, we've been live for an hour and it's taken me that long to talk about Taco Tuesday. I hope you have a fantastic Taco Tuesday. One more time, give it up for Rita. She is in the house and she's here every single Tuesday. But y'all have a fantastic day. And remember, keep it up. We all have to start somewhere. Bye, y'all.